Although I haven't been uploading, I've been doing a lot of drawing. And I've just noticed that I've stayed drawing a lot longer than I have in the past. Throughout middle school and a little bit of high school, I would always start, getting back into drawing. I would draw for like a couple weeks and I'd eventually fall off again. And this is something that I cycled through over and over again, especially when I wanted to try to improve. But after realizing that I've been drawing for who knows how many days straight, it's kind of given me hope for one day becoming as good as the people I look up to. And I want to give some tips about some things that have changed from then to now to make drawing every day easier for you, if that's your goal. So I have three things that I consistently do, and I'll start from the easiest thing to do. And that's clarifying the goal, right? You have to have some place that you want to eventually reach, some style or skill level that you look up to. And for art, it's actually pretty easy to do because you can find and save finished results of artists that you really like and can look back on them every day. So I use Milanote to put all the drawings that I like into one page. And I can just like look back at it and see all the things I put together. And it's just like such a good reminder of what people can actually do, right? And it gives me hope for what I can eventually accomplish. But another benefit of this is that you can just take out the images. You don't have to go searching for, a reference to draw from to study. You can just take the things you already like and have already put into this collection and just study it when you feel like it. Eventually, you're going to have to find more if you wanted to, but, there's no rush. And I'll consistently reuse them a lot just to try to learn bit by bit. And that's actually the second thing that makes drawing every day so easy. It's the study method that I use. I found it from this one video, and it's called the blind method. I won't go into crazy details, but you'll see me trying this out in the speed paint or the speed drawing that I'm doing. And pretty much it's a way to, analyze the artist that you like and try to do it yourself. But instead of copying what you see, it's kind of testing what you already know, and then you can compare it to the reference and try to add little things that make your drawing look better. And this is a very rewarding process because you're pretty much drawing from imagination, drawing from the knowledge that you know, right? So you're testing yourself. And then you get to add things from the reference that you like. So you'll start from a basic, okay drawing that you have. And once you go over it 3 to 4 times, your drawing that you're doing from imagination is almost guaranteed to look better. And you're and as you go through it, you're what if I do this? What if I try to, copy this part? What if I memorize this part? Oh, I have to change this a little bit, right? And it actually feels like you're adding things to your collection, your mind collection, instead of just copying straight up. And I'm having a lot of fun with this. I don't know if I'm doing it exactly right because I'll probably spend more time than I actually need to on a single reference. Like with this drawing that I'm doing right now, I've spent 3 total days just going through these references and it's just repeating it over and over again on different days. But yeah, it's called the blind method if you want to look that up. And the third thing that's helped me start drawing every single day, and probably the most important thing, is to change your mindset, a mental reframe. And this just has to do with how you think and the things you tell yourself. The problem is that even though we don't want to, we're often judging and comparing things, especially with the category of art. If you're like me and started drawing because of how amazing an artist is and how you want to be like them, you often compare yourself to them, even without you knowing, right? And the problem isn't really that you're comparing yourself, but because I've consumed so much content of, scrolling through Pinterest, seeing amazing art and video games, having really hot characters show up on my screen. All of that has become my standard for good art. And anything less just becomes cringe to me. Think of it like singing, right? We listen to Spotify music all the time. And if one day we're I want to learn how to sing, right? And you let a whole ass goat screech or whatever, you're gonna not want to sing ever again because, your standard is so high. And if you eventually want to get better at that kind of art form, whether it's drawing or singing, you're gonna have to release some of that pressure. And to do that, you have to change the way you think about it. Little perspective frames that I can look through. Like if you're insecure about, you know, drawing bad art, it's a good reminder to realize that no one looks down upon a beginner, especially if they know that you're trying to learn. If they're better than you, then they'll understand. And if they don't, they're a douchebag and you can ignore them, or they don't even like draw or whatever, right? So what would they know? Or maybe that you're just scared to make mistakes in general, but you have to remember that you can't really fix your mistakes unless you've made them. Because how else are you supposed to find the mistakes? How else are you supposed to figure out what you're supposed to improve? And if you're just like feeling insecure about, you know, I'm not improving, I'm not good enough yet, like sure, that can be a good way to realize that you need to change things up or your process isn't efficient. But maybe take the time to look back at your old art, right? So I have a page of art that I've drawn over the past year, and I can just look at that and realize, look, I'm improving, right? I used to draw like this, and I was like this. And these aren't reminders that I'm pulling out of my ass, whatever. I say these things because I believe them, and because I've experienced an event where these things are true. And most of them come from Valorant, when I used to play Valorant a lot. Like, if I see someone that's trying to rank up and they're like actively trying to improve, like, I can't help but cheer them on, right? I feel inspired by them, even though they're not as good as me. And if I want to get better at the game myself, I have to play the game. And you're bound to make mistakes. And that's okay, right? And we just look at your art through those like lenses, those perspectives, then the fear and pain that it brings up isn't so bad. You can start to draw without like any worrying or anxiety. And sometimes it's like a little hard to, you know, figure out these things and actually change your perspective, because we're in this time where we can just play video games or hide away from the things we really need to face. And don't worry, this is a massive problem for me too. And to try to help myself through fears that I'm going through right now, I decided to make a Discord server. You can find this in the description. If you want to find and talk to people that are trying to improve at creating anime style art, give the server a go, right? It's new. There's not going to be that many people, but just give it a bit. And who knows, maybe it'll turn into something cool. But yeah, that will be it for today. I appreciate you watching this far, and best of luck. Take care.